Enchanted, swimming.
Good
in
morning,
the
Dr.
endless
Pat. Thank you
sea.
so much for joining me again. We are 2 years into our friendship. How are you?
Sure. For sure, and I love our community.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that came out of our community together, is that we have a friendship and we have a relationship. And I'm hoping that it lasts for decades.
From your lips to my ears to the universe's ears, for sure. So tell me, Dr. Pat, why is it that I'm so crazy about you? What is it that you do, and why is it that you have a profound effect on so many people that read your books and listen to you talk?
Well, something that has transpired since the last time we really had a big conversation, and then we decided to, put something to tape and put a message out there, is that, I revamped how I introduce myself. And by doing that, I forgot about things that I did. And
Really?
it brought to light, so that your listeners, here, can have better information. I'm a high performance mastery mentor and coach. I'm a functional medicine doctor and a lifestyle strategist. I'm also an international bestseller, and my books have been promoted on Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, International Business Times, and more. I'm a highly sought out doctor, for my opinion, and as a leader and innovator on podcasts and summits and radio shows, and hoping to go on TV in 2023. I'm the CEO and founder of Health Team Network, a company that's dedicated to skyrocketing health, lifestyle, and mindset, especially with superior wellness-based and science-based solutions, and with the idea that results matter. I'm a Midwesterner, so Midwesterners have this encompassing thing you can talk about, through and through. And, someone's lost in the middle of New York City, we take them wherever they have to go in order to get there. It's just the way a Midwesterner functions. My other educational experience spans over 38 plus years of clinical science with Doctor of Chiropractic, a Chiropractic Sports Physician, Functional Medicine Practitioner, Lifestyle Medicine Coaching. And I also had additional training at the Chinese Sports Medicine at the National Olympic Training Center in Beijing. And that was one of those surprises that I totally forgot about, thinking, oh yeah. And, when I was writing this up, it was a project, and then there was a template I was following. I have been able to have the special privilege of working with Special Olympics, marathons, especially the Boston Marathon, men's and women's pro volleyball games, international windsurfing championships, the LPGA, and more. I'm passionate about sharing my knowledge and solutions that make sense of challenges, so people can have even better outcomes and be on top of their game, stay on top of the game, whether at work, home, or play. Everything that you need to have better health and mindset mastery. I talk about primarily high performance solutions and how to achieve more health and happiness, and have a right mindset that achieves your greatest goals in less time. My programs really reflect and are personalized and individualized for people, their unique bio-individual needs. So there's no stone left unturned, mind, body, soul, spirit. And I'm a team player. And so I always view my relationship with my clients as a team. We growing forward. We're going to, nobody's left behind in that process. I thrive on strategic solutions that are driven by faster, simpler, safer, evidence-based programs that keep people moving forward and realizing their goals in less time. For everyone who wants to stay in their game, please reach out to me. I would love to speak with you. Because one thing that when I give something away to executives or entrepreneurs or busy professionals, and that includes moms and dads, is that I've walked in your shoes. So I come from a point of having over 38 plus years of experience of going from point A to point Z in the shortest period of time, which is safe.
Yes.
So that's where I've evolved as since the last time that we actually, spoke together.
Bravo.
And I use my book as it's a book of questions.
Yeah.
A thoughtful guidebook, workbook, and an advocating tool. So you have a sense of where's the glitch? In our health, right?
Yeah.
And if you know where the glitch is, then you can do specific things to promote better health and wellness in that arena. and sometimes you need help. So, and we all need to do it. You don't go to, I wouldn't go to Casablanca and not hire a guide. I don't speak the language and I don't know the terrain of the land.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people don't do that even with their own health.
Yeah.
So, I always ask, who wants to be more healthy? Who needs more health, who wants to be healthy, and who's willing to invest in that health, and that's, and I love those people because they go out of their way to, to do whatever it takes to get from point A to point Z.
And the thing is that to be able to actually get better health, there can be some very simple things that we all can do, right?
Right. Well, it starts with what you put in your mouth.
Well, hello.
Which is where your product comes in. So if you want to change something, you've got to change your diet. So your product, right? The ginger tea.
Yes.
My favorite one is not the sweet one, because I don't eat sugar.
Yes.
So, but I liked it though. I didn't think the sweetness of it was so understated.
Yes.
It was the perfect ratio. But I like intense drinks. My personality is intense, generally speaking, and I thought that absolutely rocked.
Thank you.
But I'm thinking, I like it, but I also like take protein shakes or the green drinks, and I don't mix them with anything. I mix them with water and take them. Other people choke on that stuff.
You are hardcore.
Right.
You are hardcore.
and so it's just like, and I've always had clients, when I work with clients, they go, what can I mix this,
Yes.
like we do a medical food, or we're doing a specific program, like a 10-day detox, for instance. Right. Then, they're going, what can I mix this with? And I went, filtered water. Ooh. And they go, but what else can I put in it? I go, filtered water.
Oh, they're like, no, I want a different flavor.
Yeah, but sometimes you just it's not forever. It's
yes.
just for 10 days. It's not and when you go back, when you do something like that, she's going back and tasting something again, you're going, oh my God, this is so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I ever like this in the first place?
True.
And so it would signal you to hey, it's a sign that something tastes sweet, not to eat it, not to drink it.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of thing. But I love your product because, it has some really, I love the ingredients that it has in it. I mean, we can go, over, you have the ginger in it, which in Chinese medicine, and in my background being an acupuncture physician also, we studied Chinese herbs. And so ginger is essential for preventing food poisoning. I bet you didn't know that.
Wow.
It's, and that's why you have it in sushi bars, right? So you have the ginger and you have the wasabi, because it's hot and it kills any microbes that probably shouldn't be there.
Wow, I did not know that.
So that's that's a big plus. And it also aids in digestion, and it calms the fetus. So when people are pregnant, it's the perfect thing to intake because it has a very calming effect on the fetus. And it also promotes digestion, right? We just got them saying that. Yes. And having the gut microbiomes, you got to have those prebiotics like that in order to, and your probiotics, to balance out the microbiomes in your system so you can digest your food even better. Right. So I didn't see on your whole list of ingredients, which I don't exactly have in front of me right now.
I can tell you what they are. Literally 4 ingredients. You got the ginger, of course. You got cinnamon. You got manuka honey, and you have elderberry, dried elderberry. That's it. And then water. That's it.
And so your, cinnamon works the same way, because cinnamon's sick, dependent upon, in Chinese medicine, just for everyone who's listening, the roots are always stronger. So when you use cinnamon and it's a cinnamon root, it's going to taste a lot stronger than cinnamon leaves.
Interesting, because I use the cinnamon sticks. So, yeah. Right?
And so, right. So, or the bark,
right.
It's just but when you get to the leaves, and in Chinese medicine, the farther down, the stronger it is. And so things that come from leaves, are more for your upper part of your body and your lungs, because the air flows. Think about cherry blossoms, and how they move, with a little bit of wind. So, but when you have when you're using cinnamon root, cinnamon root does a lot of the same things. And there's also other benefits, with the cholesterol that they found, and tying that in. So ginger and cinnamon are brothers and sisters. I mean, and they like each other. They're best buddies.
See, I didn't know that. I literally added cinnamon because of the flavor. I thought to add a bit of sweetness to the tea, which I know is very strong, but I loved. I thought for everyone else, when I decided to market it, to launch it, cinnamon could add a bit of sweetness. So let me add that. And then I found out it had health benefits. I'm so surprised. I didn't know about the lower to the root, the stronger the actual benefits. I didn't know that. That is genius. Okay. All right. Talk to me about elderberry. Do you know what would you say about elderberry? I just know that it's obviously healthy, and I think during 2020 when the lockdown happened, before then we used to just have the elderberry gummies because it's the only ones that my children would eat. And then just before the lockdown, I went to my usual health food store, and they were sold out. It's like all of a sudden everyone with the onset of COVID, everyone realized that something like elderberry is extremely beneficial. So what is it about elderberry that's so great?
Well, elderberries are like really, first off, they're a big antioxidant. And I would say the average American person is probably antioxidant deficient, which when you have that component, and your body handles stress a lot better, your immune system works better. So elderberries are really good for that. Elderberry syrup, and when they make that, you buy elderberries, you can just cook them down with a little bit of water and get the same syrup without the sugar.
That's what I do.
And they're high, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's in there.
Yeah.
And it's also the vitamin C, it's high content. Mm-hmm. And also elderberries, all the dark fruit like black currants and red currants are excellent components for your skin, for your skin health.
Oh.
I mean, just as on a side note for that. So, I'm always looking, I don't use like cranberries, for the red currant. And red currant's a little bit hard to get in the United States. But you have you have blackberries, you have, the currants and the elderberries, and elderberries have been used for tea.
Yes.
And, you would use the leaves for tea.
Yes.
You would use the berries, also. And I just think that, you have, in your product specifically, there's a beautiful balance between the cinnamon, the elderberries, and the ginger, and that touch of honey and the sweet, just like the touch, which proves that. And I always look at honey as being a medicinal product. I don't look at it as being a sweetener.
And well, you know what? If you're going for the organic or the raw, the local honey, which is what I'm sticking with, I do, I use the Manuka honey because this is something I found out it's a potent and very strong sort of immune booster. I don't know why it only comes from New Zealand though. I need to figure out what that's about. But the honey that I use to sweeten the sweetened version of the tea is a local raw honey, literally from the bee farms out here where I live in Long Island.
What I find about raw honey, it has more nutrients in it.
Yes.
If you can see through honey, you're not buying it raw.
Ooh.
And so the reason for buying raw honey that is cloudy is because it's better for you. So if I had a cough, I just make a simple syrup of like lemon juice.
Yes.
Not from the bottle, but from fresh lemons and honey and cinnamon.
Yes.
And so, you have, and that's like, for if I wake up in the middle of the night, that kind of thing, I just take like a demi-tasse teaspoon of that, and I'm done, and it's just, and it's also an antiseptic, it helps tighten you can use it on your skin. But I look at honey as being much more of a medicinal product as opposed to a food.
Wow. So tell me, why is it then? And I love, the fact that it's Eastern medicine and the fact that it, out in the East, with India or China, it's been used for, hundreds, thousands of years, etc. Why is it that like Western medicine is not interested in promoting products like this to help the human race? Why?
Well, I think ignorance is bliss, and it's an old saying. And so if, something, they always keep on going, and I talk about science proven, programs like, so my questionnaire that's in my book is a science proven evidence-based questionnaires. Yeah. I didn't make them up out of thin air.
Right.
And so, and that, and repetitiously those questions have been used to look at like organ systems. So, but, when you look at, when you look at the food portion of it, in most medical schools, unless you take special courses, you do not study nutrition. There's a big difference between being a dietitian and having the ability to be able to actually advise people in an appropriate way of what foods are best together. Because a lot of times people eat food, and they're eating it to like sustain, but they're not eating it to live.
Right.
And So their choices are based upon, bad behaviors that started when they were kids and then super exceeds when they get older. So if you keep on inputting, foods that have in some like lemon juice, what they put in lemon juice is sodium dioxide, right? And so as a preservative, well, sodium dioxide can give people asthma. So if you take lemon juice is very good for the lungs, but it negates it when there's sodium dioxide in it. So it's just like, if you're taking it to help, that aspect of it, it can actually lead ultimately from having, sustained levels in your body to having other problems. And it's not just that, it's just like one example of what sodium dioxide does as a side effect. Looking at like what an ingredient is, Western medicine doesn't do that. They just kind of go out, you're on your own, eat better. And so you think you're going, I'm going to have a healthy month. I'm going to do a health diet.
Yes.
And then you're thinking, I'm going to take out, like something that I think that it's like whatever is that somebody's nemesis, what they think that their comfort food is, that usually relates to that too.
Yes.
They take it out of their diet. And then, then you go back to your doctor and you go, well, your numbers are down a little bit, because numbers don't lie. And you need the test, not guess. Then, having those components, pieced together, Western medicine just doesn't do it. They don't have the, some of them do, people who are into functional medicine, and it's just like when that first part of me being, the Dr. Pat part is the chiropractor, the sports physician, and then I continued my education over all the years that I've been doing in helping people, achieve their dreams and their goals. And looking at what foods can do that better? I mean, we have a lot of people that it's like almost an epidemic of people losing their hair. And you've got to take a look at what kind of foods are in there. So in some Chinese cultures, they use a formula for hair loss called faux chi, or keeping your hair black. It means Mr. Wu has, Hishu Wu is faux chi, and it means that Mr. Wu has black hair. But there's specific ingredients in there that help support the body be even more healthier. So what I like about your products that Western medicine probably has a hard time with, they're probably, it tastes good. You could probably put a little bourbon in here every once in a while, just to, in case you're being festive on New Year's Eve, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you do that, there's nothing, that is in your product that isn't sustainable for life. Something that you should have almost probably every day to set your digestion and to help your gut health stay the best that it possibly can be.
I mean, do you think there is any sort of specific, definite medical proof that ginger is beneficial to our health?
It's well documented. You can there's probably, if you go into PubMed, I don't have any off the top of my head, but in PubMed, especially on the Chinese side, there's that you can find white papers on that.
Okay, I'm going to write that down.
And look up in the, the journals, in that type of thing. So when you go on a Google search and you go ginger benefits, right?
Yeah.
And then go down and then knock that back out and then put what the first benefit of ginger is.
Yeah.
And then put that back into search and you'll bring up a whole different search page, which will go a lot deeper.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you think, or do you know whether it changes, whether the benefits change when you do, for instance, the way that I, slice it up, I boil it, I then bottle it, it's cooled and all that business. Does that change the efficacy of ginger, do you think?
Well, it's going to change when you cook it. You're breaking down the components of it.
Okay.
But the Chinese always had tea. Yeah. But when you have a piece of ginger that's like this, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same, it doesn't have the same surface as if you chop it up.
Right.
So when you chop it up and cook it, you're taking the essence of that ginger and you're exponentiating it in a liquid.
Okay.
It's just like no one ever takes ginger. Well, maybe some people do, but take ginger and bite it off and chew it.
Yeah.
It's really stringy. But when you mix it and you heat it and you mix it with other products, it can make it even potentially even better
more
than
potent.
it was by itself, and more potent than it was by itself.
Yes. Okay, good. Because my next question was going to be, tell me what you know about ginger extract, and do you think that they are as effective as real ginger root? Although they say it comes from ginger root, so we are struggling with this idea right now.
So I would say, like when you're looking at essential oils are, like if for instance you use the ginger as an essential oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And use the oil in it, it's just like if it takes 50 pounds of peppermint to make a 15 milliliter bottle of
oil.
Essential oil.
Yes.
Then you just have to. It's going to be a lot stronger.
Okay.
Than if you had, if you just had the fresh ginger. Okay. But then there's nothing like fresh ginger. I mean, it's just like you're going to have to see how that pieces together. Yeah.
It's going to be either, there must be companies that are doing it, that are using real ingredients, real roots, or vegetables or whatever it is, to make real beverages that are marketed to the masses and not just kept locally. At the moment, it's great. We're here on Long Island, but I want to be national. I want to be international. I want as many people to have this beverage be part of their life, because I've seen what it's done for me, and the fact that I would make batches to give to friends when they would get sick, and it didn't dawn on me that, oh, hold on, you haven't even had a cold or flu for the last 8 years, and you drink like a sailor. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm best friends with champagne, Veuve Clicquot, tequila, red wine. How is it that I've managed to avoid getting sick? So I do.
Well,
I'm giving it.
System. First off, you got to take a little bit look at your genetics. And number two.
Well, my mother died of cancer, stomach cancer, at 67.
Well, that's your mother. Yeah. Your genetics are different than your mother's genetics. You only have contribution of hers, and you're only going to realize your gene by your epigenetics and how you handle in the environment. So what you've taken control of, you're taking control of how you handle your constitution.
Right.
And you can change your constitution by what you put in your mouth. So you can have even a better, stronger, healthier immune system, by doing specific things. So it's just like, and how you handle some foods might not be how somebody else handles food. Okay. Like, to the client I was talking to before we got on the telephone today, we were talking about, she was asking me about split pea. Mm-hmm. And so soup. And I said, well, a cup of split pea soup is like two carbohydrates if you look at as a unit, and it has a value for me. And I said, so did you put 2 units of protein in? Like did you cut up like 2 ounces of red meat or 3 ounces of fish and put it in there and eat it with that? Because that would make that more balanced. And you just need like a dollop of olive oil or sour cream in order to make that a balanced protein. Right. So that when you eat it, you get the best benefits of that, and it doesn't make you tired. Right. And so, but you might, how, you put things together in a very particular way that you're, always feel energized. So when you eat something that makes you exhausted, it's just like, I'm your girl that you want to talk to about it, because you need to go like, what is it? Why is that happening? Because if it keeps on happening, then you're going to, all that digestion stuff that's not happening is going to eventually take a toll someplace in your body, wherever your weakest link is at. So for you, it's just like, finding, using ginger, this is like a great access, like, the fountain of youth, right? Yes. In a way, because there's very specific things that help you, help you with your health. And one of the things is having a healthy gut gives you a healthy life, and having the ability to absorb what you need to absorb from your foods. Your gut's got to be working in order for that to happen, or it doesn't happen.
Oh my gosh, that's like, yes.
And so look at the ingredients that you have in your food. So the honey even can coat. You have high vitamin C. You have things that are good for your immune system, because of that, because of the elderberry and the other benefits of elderberry. It's just like there's not a negative to taking elderberries, not a negative for, berries, unless you have sensitivity to the seeds, right? Yeah. And like, blueberries or that type of thing. But, it's always like, before they take a product to market, they spray it in the United States. That's the dangerous part of eating. Like, oh, I'm doing really well. I'm having strawberries and blueberries and and elderberries, or if you even have gooseberries. You know what gooseberries are?
No.
They actually increase the element called Sig-A in your intestinal tracts, which improves your immune system. So elderberries got to also have some of that same effect for it's called SIG, dash A, and you want a lot of them. And there's tests that you can do to find out what that number is. So if you're having a weak immune system, and they're also called golden berries too, and a lot of times people dry them out and they use them as, and they cure them in vodka or grappa, in some type of liquor with just a smidgen of honey or sugar, and then all that flavor from is infused, like that infusion for that type of thing. You see it when you go to a bar and when they have pineapples and vodka and something like that, which I would never drink. Yeah. It's just way too sweet. In our realm, in talking about your product, it's just like you've got all these really simple, less than 5 ingredients that you have to find me something that's negative about it.
Right.
Unless you have, I don't know anybody who has sensitivity to elderberries or to berries. Yeah. Maybe some people I've never met in my 6 plus, going into my 6th decade. Yeah. Someone who's sensitive with that or can't have cinnamon. Yeah. Or I just have never met anybody. Maybe there's surely somebody has a sensitivity to it. Right. But I think that it can outshine turmeric. And also outshine curcumin, which they quote as because a lot more people I'm finding have food sensitivities to those things.
Oh, really?
So, but I don't see that, in your product. It's simple. Yeah. It's water, because you need water for hydration.
Yes.
You need something to help you digest your food and put some, and work with what your microbiomes are already doing in there. Something natural that's simple, over the counter solution. And so you've got the cinnamon and the ginger in there, and you have a little bit of the honey in there, and one of your products is a little bit sweeter than the other. But it's just I don't see where there's any, there's any downfall to your product at all. I think it's worth a worthy try, and I think it's a great piece of, something to bring to the market. How can I make my digestion even better so it's a non-event moving forward every day of my life? Yes. So it goes from being a habit to being a ritual.
Right, exactly. It's a ritual. Like right now, we're in the Christmas season, right? So I allow myself to get out of my ritual. So we went away for Christmas. We're back home now. We've got New Year's coming up in a couple of days, and then I'm like, I know I'm out of my ritual, although I've made sure to have a cup of my tea every day. That is what I've needed. Yesterday we were out and I couldn't have a cup of my tea, and I had to resort to Starbucks, and I was like, oh, why am I drinking this? It's like...
Yes, it does. And when you taste Starbucks stuff, a lot of Starbucks stuff is not...
real. It's not real.
I have a list.
It's not real. And I literally regretted even giving that money. I mean, I gave the tip, so I was like, okay, at least I got to give a tip. But I was like, oh, the difference now that I'm so used to drinking my tea and having it every single day, that makes a difference. But my food, I know it's completely off kilter right now, but I know that come January 2nd, I'm like, okay, let's switch the switch back on, and that's where I'm most comfortable. But it's nice to have the break, but know that, okay, we have to get back on that bike because we like what's happening, what seems to be,
Well, if you don't move, you're going to die. And you've got to eat, and you have to move, you have to eat well. You have to eat well, think well, and feel better. Yes. And, in order to have optimal wellness, and having, because when I teach about what health is and the 5 pillars of health, and what health is being at your peak performance, mind, body, and spirit all the time. Yes. But the thing is that you don't always know if you're at that peak performance, because a lot of things can be brewing underneath because your body's always compensating, until it's broken. So why wait? Why do things that intrinsically are not good for your body?
Because of 2020, I feel like a lot more people are aware of mental health, and how to try and take care of it. Because you did mention in our last talk just about how our thoughts can also make us sick. So what would be the big piece of advice that you would offer to people going into 2023, maybe things that they didn't know in 2020 that they found out that they've maybe tried to implement in their life since then or haven't even gone near? What would you recommend to people that to kind of optimize their health and get the best health with this combination of mind, body, and spirit? What would you say?
Get a handle on your thoughts. It's essential to have, master your thoughts, and move forward. It's crucial, in order to make better decisions, mind, body, soul, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, and financially. You cannot make decisions if you can't think. And if you're not eating the right foods, which give you brain fog and, all this other stuff that people like bloating, pain, it's just like, why are you still eating that food if it causes you to feel awful? That doesn't make any sense for me. That's why, and when I'm talking to people and I'm like looking at what, they're telling me, I'm thinking, well, if we already had this conversation twice, what is it that you don't get about that, that sugar is bad for you? Well, I thought that I could just have one little piece, it's just like, it's poison, and when you realize, when you start reading ingredient lists, how poisonous food is, it's like you're thinking like, I'm poisoning myself and I'm poisoning my family. But that light's got to go on when you master the mindset mastery, and then you got to couple that with superior wellness initiatives to get you unstuck, to keep moving forward with a safer, quicker, simpler solutions, to have the life that you deserve. That's my biggest message to people.
Do you help people do this? You help people master their thoughts in your courses?
I do. That is my program. Be Stronger.
Okay.
It's my mentoring and coaching program.
Yeah.
I target. My target audience for that is executives, entrepreneurs, busy professionals,
Yes.
moms, and dads, who have that. They're going. Maybe they can't put their finger on that. They're not productive.
Yeah.
They don't have. And in helping those people really be stronger. Because, my father was an entrepreneur and an executive, and he died of a heart attack. He didn't, he died too soon.
Yes.
He didn't eat well, and he didn't take care of himself. And the fact that he is an entrepreneur and executive, it's just like so many times, our group of people who do that are busy,
Yes.
and they don't, and they do shortcuts about what they think, what they feel, and what they eat. And, and when programs that, the first thing that you get back in a program that I give is this greater awareness about your health, and that's priceless. And then you have the steps that you need to do to take, to move into the next adventure in that pathway.